Hello Soul Fam, it's Brittany. Today I am bringing you an episode that might be a little controversial, but I think it's important to talk about all the same. So it hit the news last week, a couple days after the debate, that Trump had contracted COVID. And I know there are so many opinions and so many theories out there, but we're not getting into any of those. I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Donald Trump, and that's putting it lightly. But I don't know. I don't know if it's because I try personally to have a really compassionate mindset when looking at others, and I try to refrain from judgment. But something that I've been seeing that really bothers me is people rejoicing at his diagnosis. And honestly, that just does not sit well with me as a human being. Now, just to clarify, I do think that this is a perfect example of the consequences of his own actions, and I do know that he has been negligent, to say the least, with this entire pandemic, and I think that if we were to put a label on this, karma would be fitting, but I also don't think that it's up to us to rejoice while we watch someone receive their karma. Because here's the thing. Feeling happy to see another person suffer is not a reflection of that person at all. And there's no denying that there are evil people out there who deserve what they deserve. But it says a lot more about who you are as a person if you feel excited or overjoyed to see someone else fail. Especially because, come on. He's the president of the United States. He comes into contact with so many people every single day. And they weren't social distancing or wearing masks. And so that has the possibility to infect many more people than just him. So hearing that he has tested positive, I just don't see anything to be happy about with that. And I know that a lot of people have very strong emotions about him, strong opinions about him, as I personally do. But one thing that I do know is that harboring hatred is not a spiritual practice. It does nothing but harm you and fills your life and your being with this really toxic poison. And this isn't just about Trump. It really applies to anything that doesn't serve us, that we tend to hold on to and focus a lot of our energy on. And just as a disclaimer, I'm not saying that we can't speak out against things or behaviors that are harmful. I'm not saying that we should just turn a blind eye to things. I'm saying that I'm more so talking about the people that we encounter in our everyday life. Picture your aunt who posts on Facebook all day about how much she hates Biden or Trump or whatever. And just what a giant energy suck and time suck that really is. And I was guilty of this for a little bit, I'm not going to lie. I spent way too much of my time focusing on the things I hated. And before I knew it, my entire life seemed to revolve around what I hated. And I lost complete track of the things that I didn't hate. I had no focus on the things I loved because I was so consumed by hating things. And it was really starting to affect everything. If I saw someone post something that I didn't agree with, I found myself being so overcome with just rage and disgust and judgment, and I felt like it was a personal attack on me, and it was really, really unhealthy. I actually deleted all of my personal social media accounts because it had just become such a place of toxicity, and it was distracting me from the things that benefit me. And that's kind of the whole point that I want to talk about today. When we're constantly giving our energy to the things we don't desire, it doesn't leave any room for the things that bring us joy. We use up all of our energy talking about how much we don't like this person, or we hate that this store has this policy, or whatever it is. It depletes our energy, and then we don't have any energy left to invest into the things that we do care about. Is being the person who complains about things the type of person that you really want to be? Do you really want to put yourself out into the world as someone who's always focusing on the negatives? And what we don't often realize is that this has the biggest effect on us. I can sit here all day and talk about how I don't agree with Trump and I don't like pretty much everything that he's done, but who does that ultimately affect? Donald Trump surely does not care what my opinion of him is. It isn't breaking him down. He isn't losing sleep at night or being inspired to change because I post on Facebook about how much I hate him. But for me, it is taking away so much of my energy and taking up precious real estate in my mind that could be better served on other things. And I know that the trend right now is to be negative, and it's somehow cool to be the person who complains, and it seems like everyone is in this weird competition to see who has the worst list of problems. And to that, I just feel like, is that really a competition that anyone wants to win? Because I have no interest in competing in that. The only competition I personally want to win is one where maybe I'm rewarded for being my authentic self and creating a beautiful life for myself. I don't set my goals in comparison to others, and I'm certainly not living my life hoping to one-up someone with negativity or problems. I even see it, okay, so I'm a huge Taylor Swift fan, like mega fan. And something I see a lot of are the people who just go out of their way to criticize her. We saw this very prominently back when Kim Kardashian released the edited, illegal footage of a phone call between Taylor and Kanye, and people were just coming out of the woodwork to talk about how much they hated her. People I had never really spoken to suddenly wanted to gloat about all of this negative stuff they were hearing and reading online, and I just can't believe that people live their lives waiting to see other people fail, especially people that they don't even know. I mean, there are plenty of musicians or actors or people in real life that I don't care for, but I don't reserve any portion of my energy to hate on them. I don't sit like a vulture watching over their lives waiting for something bad to happen to them. On the contrary, I want good things to happen to people, even if I don't like them. Because even if someone is a pretty bad person, I would rather see goodness and kindness wash over them, because I think that they are a lot more likely to take that and use it as a way to better themselves than if they were constantly getting negativity and hatred spewed onto them. Hatred is not going to make anyone into a better person, and I'm just not willing to poison my heart by wishing bad things onto other people. I think it speaks volumes about where a person is in life if they're waiting for another person to crash and burn, rather than focusing on just winning the race themselves. I just feel like, shouldn't you be so focused on yourself that you don't even have the mental capacity or the energy to care about what other people are doing? And again, I'm not saying we can't speak out against injustices, or if we see bad behavior, yeah, of course we should try to correct it somehow. I'm talking about the people who nitpick and are, sitting on Twitter talking about Trump's weight or someone's getting fired or, whatever. You've all seen it. They're on there like, I hate Post Malone, he can't sing, and Jennifer Aniston isn't even a good actress, and whatever that petty stuff is. And it's even worse on things like Facebook, where people are just airing out all of their dirty laundry, and I don't know the last time I saw a positive post on Facebook. I've even tuned into live streams that influencers hold, and they're getting thousands of comments of people talking about how much they love them and are inspired by them. And then there's that one comment, and it's from probably some internet troll, and they talk about how much they hate this influencer or insult them in some way. And this influencer who just ignored thousands of positive comments, they focus on this one critique from someone who doesn't even really matter. And I'm not saying that comments like that don't suck, but it's like, wait, why are you going to ignore all of these lovely things that people have been saying about you and how you've helped them and all of the things that they've gained from watching you, only to get hung up on some troll who is honestly just here to be a jerk and get attention? And so I've seen influencers do this where they've taken what could have been a really nice, uplifting time spent with their followers, and they're giving undeserving time and attention to just one negative comment out of thousands. And then that just breeds more negativity into themselves, and it just, that's how the vicious pattern keeps going. And I'm not here pointing fingers. I'm definitely guilty of this as well. I just don't know why we are almost programmed to be like this. It's like, imagine what we could do with all of that time and all of that energy if we didn't waste it on negativity or defending ourselves. And imagine what we could accomplish if we used all of that wasted time and energy to focus on the things that will actually serve us in the future, or even in the moment. Imagine, instead of talking about how much you don't like this candidate or why you don't like the other candidate, or rather than talking about how much you don't like one candidate, why don't you focus on talking about the things you do like about the other candidate? Or if you don't like either of them, then why not talk about what you would rather see out of a leader? You will inspire more change by talking about the things you love than you will by talking about the things that you hate. And even if not, do you really want an entire group of people whose only uniting factor is that they hate the same thing? I would so much rather be part of a group of people who were focused on lifting each other up and focusing on how they could create positive change, rather than being part of a group who just sits together and complains about the same topics over and over. And I've even seen this in friends who, they want to order 2 extra cheese pizzas with double pepperoni, and then they sit there talking about how unhappy they are with their weight. And it's like, well, why don't we get up and, why don't we start going for walks together? No, I don't want to do that. It's feeding in to the negativity that has become so comfortable when the way out really isn't that complicated. It's just moving that same energy in a different direction. And I think that a big problem with people is they would rather remain comfortable in their discomfort than be really uncomfortable for a little while to enjoy more comfort later on. And this is a pattern and a trap that can be so easy for anyone to fall into. And I just want to be a place where people can come and kind of get a break from all that negative talk and negative energy. There's an overabundance of that on the internet. We don't even have to go looking for it. And I personally am not interested in being a part of a community like that. I'm not interested in creating a community like that. And I really do not want to contribute to that problem online or in my personal life at all. I hope to inspire people to be more positive. And yes, there are so many things out there in the world that are not okay and they need to be addressed and changed, but we should give them our attention carefully and in a way that will help, because sitting around talking about how much we hate climate change isn't going to stop climate change. Ruth Bader Ginsburg had a quote that I've always loved, and I'm paraphrasing, but it basically says that, to fight for the things that you believe in, but to do it in a way that will inspire people to join you. And I think that we could all do much better in that area. There are so many things that I love, and I think that those are way more deserving than the handful of things that I might not love. I want people to know me for the things that bring me joy and not the things that drain the joy from me. It's really important to be mindful of where you're putting your energy, and I think that a lot of us could reallocate some of our energy into more positive things, because you will never hate something into changing. If you hate your body, well, that isn't going to make you change your body, because then you just get lost in this toxic pattern of feeling guilty every time you eat or hating the way that clothes look on you. Those aren't the things that tend to inspire people to change. But if you say, I love my body enough to give it the food that it needs and to force myself to go for a walk when I would rather lay on the couch for a 9th consecutive hour, those are the things that will inspire change. So I want you to keep this in mind and The next time something negative pops into your mind, try to turn it around. Maybe the next time you see something on the news that you don't like or agree with, rather than grumbling and groaning, take a look into how you can actively fight against the things that are not right or fair. Take that hatred and turn it into something that you can do to change the situation in your favor, or in the favor of the people that it's hurting. Hate is not going to change anything except for you. It's going to take a toll on your health and on your relationships and really on your entire life. And if hate can do that, imagine how much more powerful love could be. Imagine how much more you can do with the passion for the things that you love. I think that if we acted more out of love and less out of hate, the world would be totally different. And we aren't going to create positivity from a negative state of mind. All it's going to do is create more problems, not just with us, but for the world in general. So I hope that the next time you catch yourself focusing too much on the things that you don't like, maybe you'll be able to stop for a second and think of how you can turn it around. Think of how you can create something you do like. It will bring so much more peace and overall value into your life. I want to thank you for listening to this week's episode, and I hope that it inspires you to be a little bit more compassionate and loving to yourself and the people around you. If you could please rate and review this podcast wherever you're listening, it would mean so much to me. And if you're watching on YouTube, please give this video a like and subscribe. I'll see you next week, but until then, I'm sending you so much love and positivity.